1, 2. the green light. That's great. Oh, hot mic. Everything I said is 100%. Except when it's not. I was not. There was a donut. But if I have it on the next board meeting, it's just
We're set?
like legacy.
All right, fantastic. Good evening, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Bonsall Unified School District Board of Trustees. Happy New Year. Glad to see a full room. Thanks for being here. We'll start with the roll call with our student board representative.
Isla Nicknome present.
Eric Ortega here.
Rachel Dombrowski here.
Roger Murchat here.
Michael Gaddis here.
And Larissa Anderson here. We are all accounted for. And if I could have everyone stand up, and we're going to have Melody Burns. She's from Bonsall Elementary School. She's going to be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. You may be seated. Thank you so much, Melody. It's always nice to have when our students themselves are here and able to engage in some of the board governance. What we're going to do now is report on closed session. In closed session, the board took action to approve final settlement agreements and general releases in special education matters involving students and the district, identified as OAH case numbers 20250903339 and 20250809997. These settlements represent a compromise without admission of liability by the district. Under the terms of the agreements, the district will take certain actions, including providing and funding agreed upon educational services and supports. In exchange, the parents in both matters have agreed to release all claims against the district through the effective dates of the agreements. Each matter has been resolved collaboratively through the settlement process, avoiding the need for a due process hearing. Upon a motion by Trustee Murchat and a second by Trustee Dombrowski, the motion passed 5-0. Sorry, everyone can hear me? The board also considered the appointment, employment, evaluation of performance, discipline, or transfer or dismissal of employees, Government Code 54957. We also discussed our position regarding collective bargaining with the Bonsall Teachers Association and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 703, in order to direct the superintendent as chief negotiator in the matter of BTA and CSEA contracts. And also regarding public performance evaluation per Government Code 54957, the superintendent evaluation. And that brings us now to the approval of the current agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the minutes of the board study session on December 3rd, as well as the annual organizational meeting of December 11th and the regular meeting of December 11th. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And that brings us to our reports. So Dr. Heather Ghali, if you can share your superintendent's report, that would be fantastic.
Good evening, esteemed board members, Mrs. McInerney, and BUSD community. It is January 2026, and I am very pleased to welcome all of you and to wish you a very happy new year. This is a big year. Many of you know that this July 4th, 2026, marks the 250th celebration and anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And if you didn't know that, it'll be a big celebration this July. It's also the year of the fire horse, which, if you were not aware, is a year that signifies intense energy, passion, transformation, and change. And internationally, we have the FIFA World Cup, USA, Canada, and Mexico. Super excited about that one. And the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. So lots to be excited about in 2026. And here in Bonsall Unified, we, of course, continue our focus in 2026 on what it truly means to belong, believe, and achieve. And that means we continue to focus on our most precious resource, and that's our students, the reason we are all here. I am so, so lucky, as you know, that I get to visit our campuses every day. Everywhere I go, I am continually impressed by the way our students greet us, greet any guests actually, as just such wonderful representatives of our district. They greet with kindness, with politeness, and just a genuine, beautiful spirit. And here I just wanted to start, of course, with some of the sweet faces. This is a PE class at SMS. You're going to get to hear a lot more from their principal, Angie James, tonight. But I wanted you to see their sweet faces, to be reminded of why we're here. And on the right, what I particularly like about this picture with our BHS girls basketball team is that the team is bigger than it normally is, and almost all of those students are 3-sport athletes. So talk about belong, believe, achieve. That is very impressive. All of that, as you know, is a reflection of our BUSD vision, mission, and values. And I'd love, per usual, if Isla would remind us of our vision and our mission. Can you read both of this for us? Thank you.
Our BUSD vision is that all students in Bonsall Unified School District engage in rigorous and relevant learning experiences that inspire them to be productive community members and future-ready lifelong leaders. And our mission, of course, is that we empower all students to thrive in a positive, safe, and supportive environment through high-quality education focused on the whole learner.
Thank you so much. As we know, this framework guides our student-centered decisions and prioritization on a daily basis. Now, at the beginning of the year, I also like to start with a little note of appreciation. There are so many things that we could recognize: individuals, events, programs, efforts, all which exemplify our vision and our mission. So today I'm just going to focus on a few patterns that I've noticed, and patterns that I really believe anyone observing our BUSD community would recognize. I've noticed care. When the work is heavy, care that goes far beyond job descriptions. I see it every day. I've noticed grace, patience, collaboration with students, families, with each other. I've noticed belief in that what we do matters. And I think everyone else would see that as well. And I just wanted to state at the beginning of the year here that I am deeply grateful to serve this community. I'm also deeply grateful to serve alongside a school board that prioritizes our students, that honors our vision, mission, and values. And in case you weren't aware, January is School Board Member Appreciation Month. So I want to take a moment to thank our Board of Trustees for your incredible commitment to our students, our staff, our community. I'm going to ask Miss Gina to pass something down to all of you, a little proclamation. But I wanted to just state publicly that your leadership, your advocacy, your partnership, they are absolutely crucial to ensuring that we continue to meet the academic, social, emotional, the overall well-being needs of every child in Bonsall Unified, especially during challenge. Your service provides the foundation. It allows our district to thrive, and we are deeply grateful for your dedication to public education. I wanted to share that this morning I had the privilege of touring the newly renovated North County Fire Station 4 with our Bonsall Rotary Club. And I got to hear from Chief McReynolds, who you've seen before this board. He's an incredible asset to our entire community. And I wanted to state that their values at North County Fire resonate deeply with ours, especially the shared value of service. And he shared this motto, which I think you can see there. It's a motto that's pretty famous for a lot of firefighters. And it states, "We are not here for me. We are here for we, and we are here for them." And in our case, of course, the them, that's our students. So I want to thank you for all you do as a board for our students in our community. Gina passed down a proclamation that's just formally indicating that we are declaring January 2026 as School Board Appreciation Month. and it will be entered into the record for tonight's meeting. So I hope that everyone can join me in a round of applause for our board members. Now, another great example of each of our BUSD values is our very own California Teacher of the Year. Now, as you know, because we've been publicizing this highly because it's really exciting, there are over 300,000 teachers in the state of California. Only 9 of them are recognized as either a California State Teacher of the Year or a finalist. And our very own Mr. Greg Hinchliff from Bonsall High School is one of those 9. Last Thursday, we were up in Sacramento, and we got to attend a gala recognizing Mr. Hinchliff and the rest of the Teachers of the Year. And last night, that was last week, last night, we attended the school board meeting for San Diego County Office of Education, where he was recognized yet again. And today, he was presented with a resolution from Assemblymember DeMaio's office. We are so incredibly proud of him and the ways that he represents Bonsall Unified. Last night, I can't tell you how I was just beaming, and I know Principal James was there and Miss Ariano was there. We were just beaming with pride, and he shared such an eloquent statement that we asked if he would be willing to come and share it with you, our school board. So I'd like to call up Mr. Hinchliff to share some words.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gawley. Good evening, everyone. Ms. Gina, esteemed board members. I wanted to speak briefly this evening regarding this recognition as California Teacher of the Year finalist. I've had the opportunity to address the San Diego County Board on 2 occasions now, and so it felt important that I could share this moment here with our Bonsall board as well. And how fitting that this comes during School Board Recognition Month, because without your leadership, your trust, and the support of our schools, this recognition would not have been possible. Trustee Dombrowski, it's nice to meet you. I know we haven't met formally, but as you can tell already, you're joining a remarkable group of other trustees, and I look forward to working with you. During my addresses to SDCOE, I shared a little bit about myself, the hidden gem that is our Bonsall community, and some of the things that really we were able to accomplish coming here just from Bonsall. The first thing I shared was regarding a trip up to Sacramento, where I had the opportunity to present to the State Board of Education on our Native American Studies model curriculum. And I had the opportunity to bring a community member with me and a student as well to make sure they could participate in that experience too. And I'm happy to say that that curriculum is now available statewide for districts across California, TK through 12 interdisciplinary subjects to access and to be able to indigenize some of the content at their schools. More recently, I returned from a different trip to Sacramento at the California Teacher of the Year Gala, where I was truly humbled to represent Bonsall Unified among so many other passionate educators and policymakers. So I just wanted to take some time during this process to really engage in a lot of the reflection that got us here. And when I think of this award, I'm reminded of some of the professional development we've done, some of the conferences we've attended. One of the big ones was the San Diego Annual Equity Conference, which was kind of the linchpin for so much networking, as well as the connections we were able to make for our mural that's now on the BHS campus. And so the motto of that conference is equity is love in action. And I think what this recognition really shows is all of the little actions and big actions that devoted teachers like the ones in our school district are making every day in the classroom. It's a reflection of a lot of the projects that our students are engaging in. I can think of a student from last year advancing to the speech and debate state championships for the first time in BHS history, and now coming back every week to help mentor our speech and debate team. Really trying to build on a program that's focused on belief, consistency, and the message that leadership doesn't just end when you get that diploma. It's also a reflection of students confidently interviewing journalists after being featured in local media like ABC 10 or the Village News, through deliberate instruction on media literacy that treats young people not just as consumers of information, but as critical thinkers and civic participants. And finally, it's a reflection of a student who now holds a keepsake that carries her grandmother's voice, made possible through an oral history project in Native American Studies, one that honors identity, memory, and indigenous ways of knowing. But ultimately, this is a reminder of what becomes possible when education is place-based, community-centered, and culturally responsive. And that's a commitment that I carry forward every day, continuing to learn, to listen, and to work alongside my students, my colleagues, and my community. So just to wrap up, thank you again, Dr. Gawley. Thank you, board members. Thank you to the Bonsall Unified team for believing in me, supporting my growth, and helping to cultivate me into the educator that I am today. Thank you.
Again, congratulations. We are so proud and can't wait to see what comes this year, because those examples he just gave are all things that I think you probably did in your class last year. So keep that up. We're very, very proud. Okay. I'd also want to share that later you're gonna hear a little bit more about recent accolades from our schools and from our other efforts that we've been having. But I wanted to share just a few January highlights before we move to some really important recognitions for people that are sitting behind me. First, Bonsall West and our community engagement team hosted an incredibly well-attended, awesome family game night. And as a family that loves board games and just games in general, it was really wonderful to see all of the engagements, the first, I'm sure, of many. Families really loved it. We also had our community engagement team. They've been very busy. They hosted a BHS and SMS parent workshop, and they are doing really a wonderful job of engaging our families and our parents. I also wanted to point out that on the level of engagement, we are also hosting Parent and Community Forum. Next one is January 21st at 5 p.m. This is more related to facilities. And our trustees have all agreed to plan a town hall in their trustee area. And I really applaud you all for doing that and for your transparency and opening up the lines of communication. We've sent those out district-wide, and we're going to continue to publicize those. On the level of staff engagement, this past Monday we had an awesome professional learning and collaboration day. And I wanted to highlight that we offered really customized sessions, and we need to make sure we continue to do that. Different employee groups got to focus on things that were really meaningful to them in their roles. We had the Math Irvine project for elementary teachers. We had CPI training, Jane Schaefer writing. We had targeted PD for child nutrition services, for custodians, for bilingual interpreters, for our TK paraprofessionals and daycare providers, school site, district office staff, and elementary special education. And in addition, we had an all-staff session at the beginning of the day that was focused on our two major initiatives for this year and gave staff an opportunity to provide some feedback. The first one, of course, is our facilities planning. And in this, we are working to ensure that our spaces match the quality of our teaching and the needs of our growing community. We provided updates to the staff. They took a survey. We were gathering more of their feedback and gave them that opportunity to engage. And we also were able to update them on a second major initiative, which is where we are with the development of our 5-year strategic plan that we're calling True North 2030. And that's how we make sure that our decisions about space, programs, and resources are actually implemented, and that will move us toward the future we want for our students. We gave them an update, we gathered feedback, and we're really excited to tell them that next week on January 22nd, we're pulling together a design team writing group session, and their emphasis, this smaller team, is going to be to take all of the language of our draft outcomes, big moves, and success metrics, refine those drafts for clarity, alignment, coherence, and spend some time identifying assets we have, barriers we have, defining those clear, actionable next steps. And we're very excited for that. And we're very excited because right after that, we should be getting ready to be able to bring it to the board for approval so that we can launch into that True North 2030. Okay, so some great developments. And now I am very excited to move into a few more very important recognitions. So first, an exemplary community partner recognition. I would love to call forward, I know I saw Chamber of Commerce CEO Ruthie Harris and any other chamber members that she brought with her. Can you please come join me at the podium? Yes, you can clap while they're walking up. Yay! And now I get to say nice things about you. It is such a pleasure to recognize this outstanding community partner. They've served the Bonsall community and partnered with our district since 1990, I think, right? And this is the Bonsall Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to share a little bit about this exceptional organization. They provide networking opportunities, access to resources and information, and they serve as a strong and unified voice for local businesses. And this is obviously especially important in a small, close-knit community like Bonsall. Through their advocacy for economic development and small business support, they play a vital role in strengthening our community and in promoting long-term prosperity. Did you know you did all that? Yes, you do. You do. They're also an incredible partner for Bonsall Unified School District. They consistently bring our community together through meaningful and well-loved events, Bonsall Fall Festival, first responder recognition events, the annual Christmas tree lighting. And this year, we're so grateful for the partnership. This has grown every year. We get to co-host and plan a Patriot Day celebration of local heroes and first responders. And this year, well, not this year because now we're in 2026, but in 2025, we had an incredible event, the Bonsall Bridge Centennial Celebration, spearheaded, run by the Bonsall Chamber of Commerce in collaboration with us and with other organizations. And it was an opportunity to honor our history while uniting generations of residents, families, and students. You were there. It was incredible, okay? Through these efforts and their ongoing collaboration, the Bonsall Chamber of Commerce creates these powerful opportunities for our students to engage in civic life, build community pride, and connect with local leaders and mentors. So we're super grateful for your partnership and for all the ways you uplift and strengthen our community. I personally love working with you, and I can't wait to see what we're planning for this year. It's just January, so we've got a lot to accomplish, and especially competing with America 250 and all of the other things that are happening. Can't wait to see what comes. Thank you for being a truly exemplary community partner. And this is a beautiful certificate of recognition that you can hang wherever you would like in the chamber. And we'd love a little picture. And one more very special recognition. I'm sure you saw some of the sweet faces of some truly incredible students. Talk about representing us well. I'm going to ask Dr. Veronica Pendleton to come up for this next recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Golly. Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and call up Principal Fortney and all our ambassadors to come up front and be recognized. And Mrs. Hunt. Yes. Hud. Look at this. Some of you can see on this side. Yeah. You guys can go on this side too. Look. So you guys can see. Face the board. Yes. There we go. Okay. So strong school communities are built when students are empowered to lead and serve others. At Bonsall Elementary School, this belief comes to life through the 5th grade ambassador program, which provides students with meaningful opportunities to model leadership, responsibility, and service, while supporting a safe and welcoming campus environment. The fifth grade ambassador program began in 2019 with when Bonsall Elementary School campus officially became a closed campus. And Principal Fortney realized that younger students needed help navigating the campus. With the support of her fifth grade teachers, student leaders were chosen to stand at the school gate in the morning to be present and provide comfort to much younger students by walking them to their classrooms. As this initiative has grown over the years, it not only provides students and families with a sense of support and security each morning, but it also creates meaningful leadership opportunities that foster a positive, welcoming, and inclusive environment. Aligned with the Leader in Me curriculum for all students, the program encourages responsibility, service, and student voice and helps create a strong sense of belonging throughout campus. All ambassadors are fifth grade students who have actually applied to participate at the end of their fourth grade year. And under the guidance of the school counselor, Ms. Megan Hudd, ambassadors are organized into 3 leadership teams, each team with a specific role and responsibility. Ambassadors on the spirit team, for example, support school spirit by helping plan and promote spirit days, Leader in Me assemblies, and school-wide activities that encourage positive participation and school pride. Ambassadors on the welcoming committee greet students in the morning and assist in walking students to class, supporting both new and returning students and starting their day feeling safe and connected. And ambassadors on the morning announcement team deliver daily morning announcements, sharing important school information, while developing public skill and communication skills. All ambassadors on their campus support needs as they arise throughout the school year. Service activities include helping with holiday celebrations in special education classrooms, supporting transitional kindergarten students with creating holiday cards and helping with various school-wide events. Through these efforts, these ambassadors contribute to a caring and inclusive and well-organized campus environment while gaining experience that prepares them for increasing leadership responsibilities as they will soon transition to our middle and high schools. The ambassador program has a positive impact on both participating students and on our broader community as well. Students develop leadership skills, confidence, and empathy while serving as role models for younger peers. As ambassadors prepare to transition into future leadership roles through ASB programs at our middle and high school levels, they carry forward a strong foundation of service, inclusivity, and student ownership, in continuing to strengthen school culture and fostering a shared sense of belonging across Bonsall Elementary. Today, the Ambassador Program stands as a meaningful example of student leadership in action, and for that, we thank you. Ms. Hudd and Ms. Hudd. So, Ms. Megan, they do? So, we recognize, in recognition of the fifth grade ambassador program at Bonsall Elementary School, for empowering students to lead, serve, and make a meaningful impact on their school community. We want to recognize you today. Thank you, Megan. You guys want to move over there?
Oh my goodness. Fifth grade ambassadors, hang out for 1 second. I'll tell you why in just a minute. I just want to echo, because when I'm standing at the gate and I see all of you, when we have little students and they're coming in and they're so upset sometimes because they just don't want to leave their parents. No offense, parents, but sometimes they're not quite ready. And the way you represent, greet students, take them to their class, I've seen the magic. You are truly doing wonderful things. Now, I know that the board is going to be moving into, I think, a recess right after this. So if you would like parents to have a little photo opportunity, especially with board members, we're going to be moving into a recess where you can do some of that. And then after that, we'll proceed. So I'll let President Anderson share.
So at this time, we're going to take a brief recess. The agenda is fairly light, and we have lots of wonderful young people here. So the time is now 6:37. We can reconvene at 6:45.
Wonderful. So parents, if you'd like a photo op with the board, I think they'd probably be happy to be in a picture. Yes. I'll put this back up behind you. And thank you, parents, for coming out and bringing everyone. Thank you. Any photo ops? Yes. Yes, yes.
Hi, Sabrina. How are you? Making you violet.
All right, the time is now 6:45. If we can reconvene. I know we've got some glorious gift of gab in the audience. I just want to make sure that we're staying on task. All right, that brings us now to our group reports. So do we have anybody here from any of our parent organizations, PTAs, PTSAs, PING? No, okay. BEF, DLAC. That brings us then to our labor reports. Bonsall Teachers Association, Ms. Ariano, come on up.
Good evening, President Larissa Anderson, and trustees, and Superintendent Golly, and Ms. Gina McInerney. On behalf of our members, I wanted to thank you for listening to the community and adjusting direction after the initial facilities survey. We see the diligence you've brought to this process, and it is generally appreciated. At the same time, our members need you to find consensus. In a small town like Bonsall, there are a few institutions that shape the future as much as Bonsall Unified. Decisions made here don't just affect classrooms, they affect the entire community for generations. I keep thinking about how one tragic event, a single plane crash, changed the landscape of Bonsall permanently. Where we once had a golf course, we now have a park. Instead of a horse farm, we have a housing development. And if the loss of one man can make such an impact, think of the magnitude of impact this board can have with the decisions you make in this room in the next months. But while the board is searching for the right direction, there's a window closing. No matter where you land, our members believe that there are three constants. First, every roadmap that you are debating would benefit from a bond. We support a bond effort. Second, the larger the bond, the more we can accomplish for students across the district. The smaller the bond, the more focused the impact will be. But any plan needs more money than we have. If it makes other funding opportunities more viable. And third, spending the general fund dollars on facilities is not the best use of our limited resources. So BTA believes that the best opportunity for a successful bond effort is during the midterm election. There will be statewide issues on the ballot that will drive education-friendly voters to the polls, and we have learned a great deal from our most recent attempts. What worked, what didn't, and what we need to do differently. Those are fresh in our mind, and I believe, as my members do, that it's time to strike. We also have something we didn't have before. We have a stronger grassroots network among young families ready to support, ready to communicate, and to help with the legwork required. I haven't felt this kind of grassroots energy since we got BB on the ballot. It's going a long time back. It takes trust, clarity, and community presence to get what we need done. But if a vote is not called soon, and I mean right now, it will be too late. We already have it stacked against us. We're going to have to start this race running, but we can do it. Even the best consensus plan, if we don't find it, will push this whole district moving forward down the road years and years away. If we don't move now, any plan we land on will not be actualized for years and years to come. As I stand here, I do not think we have as good of a chance in the general election as we do in the midterms. And I want you to please consider that seriously. So thank you for your time, and thank you again for the seriousness and care you've shown in this process so far.
Thank you, Ms. Ariano. Do we have a representative here from CSEA? Okay. That then brings us to our management reports. Which school principal is presenting first? Allison Fortney, come on up.
It's so quiet in here. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Gali, Gina. Happy New Year. Just yesterday, we reached the halfway point in the school year. I only know this as I had the privilege of observing some classes at Bonsall West yesterday. We saw Mrs. Stegmiller in action with her kindergarten class doing math as they moved through their daily calendar routine, and they changed 8 10s and 9 1s into bundled one more and made it 9 10s. So they didn't know they were halfway through the school year, but I was like, oh, we're halfway through the school year. Okay. Dr. Gali shared this picture as well. We had our holiday fun. Thank you to Doug Millard, who plays the Grinch. And this year we had a new Santa. Jonathan Castellanos played Santa for us. Lots of pictures, lots of excited kids, just a few tears, a few scared kiddos, but always a long line to see the Grinch and Santa and Snowflake, the elf on the shelf. Oh, I have to sing. Okay. Wrong way. Okay, as you just saw our 5th grade ambassadors, and I just shared with Dr. Gali, this really is probably one of the things I'm most proud of at Bonsall Elementary School. This is my 7th year as the principal, and we've made a lot of great changes and put a lot of great systems in place. But this, along with Megan, who's done an amazing job in the short time that she's been with us with these students, has really grown. And just watching these students as leaders and giving them the opportunity to showcase their leadership skills at such a young age, I can already see where they will go and the great things that they will do. So just a few little snapshots here. There are service providers do a holiday event for our special education students where there's games and crafts, and so the large group of our 5th grade ambassadors helped with that. You can see there on the first day of school those 2 kiddos doing the morning announcements for the first time, and it was the first day of school and they were so nervous. So I said, you come in my office and I'll do them with you. And then you see our students walking in the morning. We still have students and we have kids that wait for a specific student to walk them to their class every morning. And the parents were so sweet at Christmas time, at the holidays. They were bringing gifts to our 5th grade ambassadors, just little thank you gifts for taking such good care of their little 4, 5, even some 6 and 7-year-olds who still struggle to navigate the campus. So we're just really grateful for this program and that it continues to grow. I want to talk about our TK and K team a little bit. 2 of our TK teachers, Shalene Peck and Jen Hurd, spent a year working through the California Preschool Transitional Kindergarten Learning Foundations course through the San Diego County Office of Ed. So they also took a play-based learning course through USD. So then they brought what they learned back to campus, and not only to their own classrooms, but they shared their knowledge with their entire TK and K team, putting together presentations in order to support their entire team and their early learning. So they supported their teammates by collaborating with them on creating new spaces in their own classroom, which I know our cabinet saw as they walked our campus last week. Sensory safe spaces, and in collaboration with our OT, Erica Howe, and our SPED TOSA, Jessica Knust, and our AP, Heather Chamberlain, they used PTA funds to create sensory stations in the hallway. So it's still in the works. That one in the top left, we have items that need to be put up on the walls. And then they also created bins, sensory bins for classrooms, and acquired couches and flexible seating to support students' diverse learning and their social emotional needs. So as you walk through their classrooms, I was in a TK class for quite some time today, and students are given the opportunity to sit where they are comfortable, still attending, still paying attention, and sometimes they just need a break. So this is one of the hallways, and it's a sensory pathway in the works. So we're grateful for that team as they support those younger students and their early foundations of not just instructional learning, but learning to cope through social emotional pathways as well. Our Orton Gillingham intervention with our TK teachers while our students were half day in the fall. This is just a little snapshot of data of what the teachers went through and worked with the students. So you can see that they worked on consonant sounds, digraph sounds, short vowel sounds, CVC words, final E words, really focusing on those consonant sounds in the beginning. And you can see the baseline and then the 6-week mark and then the ending mark in December, and how much these students grew based on the teachers and the Orton Gillingham program. And thank you to the district and to the board for allowing us to send more staff members. This past fall, we sent a TK paraprofessional, 2 special ed paraprofessionals, and another teacher to Orton Gillingham training. It's really proven to be working well, and I have this short little video, it's like 2 seconds long, of an Orton Gillingham activity. No, it's not available. Okay, well, I'll keep practicing my YouTube skills. It's students outside. They're on a big play, like a play mat. There's letters, and they're jumping on the letters and sounding out the letters, and then another student spells the word. So just a lot of interactive. They use sand, a lot of tactile things through the Orton Gillingham program to help our students continue to learn. Okay. Some fun stuff around school. We did our first underground spirit day where we don't tell the students what we're doing, and we did it on the 67th day of school. So teachers and staff members got to choose different ways they wanted to represent 6-7, and kids had to guess as they walked up in the morning and got into their classrooms what exactly was going on. And the squeals and the excitement when they figured it out was, some teachers had like a 6-7 headband on, and it was really fun. Let's see. Our holiday food drive for Love on Your Back. We collected 443 jars, cans, and boxes of peanut butter, soup, and mac and cheese, plus $640 in monetary donations to Love on Your Back to help feed and serve our students, especially over the holidays and during the break. A lot of holiday activities went on. A couple up there to highlight our always wonderful TK program. The TKers up there singing. Each class took a turn singing a different song. And then Dr. Golly and I believe some of our other cabinet members were there for our Hip Hop Elves, which is a collaboration with Mrs. Spencer's 1st grade class and Mrs. Sheik's 3rd grade class. And they really rocked it. And we definitely have some future stars up there. So that was fun. We sadly said goodbye to Mrs. Serrata, our wonderful music teacher that we've had for the last few years. Her passion is in the strings, and she had an opportunity to go and be a full-time orchestra teacher. So as sad as we were, and I begged her to stay, so this was her last performance. A lot of our students that are 5th grade ambassadors are also in our orchestra, and I'm working with Dr. Golly and seeing if there's any way we can get that, to carry that on. But we have a new music teacher, Mr. Brockman, and he comes to us with years and years of experience and his own niche and talents. He loves to sing, and on his very first day, I took the cabinet into his classroom where he, just off the cuff, the kids had not done it, he taught them how to sing in a round. And they off the cuff did it, and they did it wonderfully. So he also plays the piano, and he's really excited that we have a show choir in the middle school. And as he gets his feet wet and more comfortable, perhaps we will start our own elementary school choir. Upcoming events, there's cute little Melody who did the pledge for us in our Bonsall Bear. Lots of things coming up. Our second grade paper picnic is next Friday. School site counselor, leader and me assembly, PTA talent show, always a hit. We have counselor appreciation week coming up in February. Our second grade Let's Hear It for America programs are always so great to come to. Couple leader and me assemblies, and if you can join us on the 27th, it's our second multicultural event. We're very proud of how we rolled it out last year as a staff, and our staff really took the lead. We are encouraging more family participation this year, and we're getting it, so we're really excited to see that grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Fortney. And now we have Principal Angelique James for Sullivan Middle School and then Bonsall High School as well, correct?
Correct, yes.
Fantastic.
Okay. Well, put my glasses on so I can see. Okay. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Dr. Golly, Mrs. McInerney, and our student representative, Mrs. Nickmon. So as you see this up here, Sullivan Middle School continues to provide meaningful opportunities for students to engage, lead, and connect with the broader community. Recently, our Sullivan Middle School choir proudly represented our school at Fallbrook Christmas Parade, filling Main Street with music, joy, and Wildcat pride. This year's performance was especially meaningful as our middle school singers were joined by students from Bonsall Elementary, creating a collaborative and spirited performance that truly reflects the strength of our Bonsall community. We are grateful for our choir directors, staff, and families for their support. What I want you to do is look up at the, let me take my glasses off. We sent, I wanted to put this picture up in the top left-hand corner. We sent letters for our Veterans Day over to some of our military troops, and this was them. They sent back pictures of them getting the letters and reading them. I have a few more pictures, and some of them it looked like they had tears in their eyes. So we showed the kids, and this was very heartfelt, and it's a special, not just for our students, but our staff too. It's really, honor for us to give back to them. And as they were looking at the letters, you can see the pictures that they drew and things that they provided for our troops. Also, you can see our amazing assistant principal, Mrs. Tiffany Suedos, at the middle school, helping with our Roar Awards when I'm over at the high school. And again, we've got our float there, and you can see we had a great turnout for Sullivan Middle School, and then again with the elementary providing that support with us. At Sullivan Middle School, we remain committed to recognizing and celebrating student leadership and character. We proudly honored a remarkable group of students during our Wildcat Luncheon. These students consistently demonstrate integrity, kindness, and perseverance, and the values that define our Sullivan community. They stand out not only for their academic efforts, but also for the positive choices that they make each day and the way that they uplift their peers. In addition, we continue to reinforce positive behavior and leadership through our Roar Awards. It stands for resiliency, organization, can-do attitude, and responsibility. And each month we recognize students who consistently model these core values both in and out of our classroom. Students are also recognized for demonstrating our learner profile traits. These students play an important role in creating a school environment where all learners feel safe, supported, and inspired to grow. Strengthening community partnerships remains a priority. Let me make sure I'm okay. Remains a priority across our schools. Recently, Superintendent Dr. Golly, Mr. Anguiano, and myself had the opportunity to attend a welcoming network gathering hosted by Lieutenant Glenn Tywin, station commander at the Fallbrook substation. This event brought together local community leaders for meaningful dialogue focused on collaboration, partnership, and support for the families we serve. Opportunities like this allow us to build strong relationships, learn about available community resources, and continue working together to support students at Sullivan Middle School and Bonsall High School. Our students also came together to celebrate the arts during our winter performances, where Sullivan Middle School and Bonsall High School showcased their incredible talents of our students through show choir and our guitar performances. With over 500 community members in attendance, and I stopped counting after 500. They were out the door. It was a true celebration of music, creativity, and school pride. Our show choir students delivered a high energy, polished performance that reflected their dedication and teamwork, while our guitar students impressed the audience with their musicianship and confidence. The enthusiastic support from our families, staff, and community members highlighted the strong connections we share across both campuses. We extend our sincere thanks to our talented students, Mrs. Pecor, our supportive families, and community members for making this event such a memorable event. So what I'd like to do is highlight some of the data we have from our STAR score. So we took our STAR in the fall and then again in the spring. So for Sullivan, if you look at, I broke it down by each grade level, and for the high school, I just did it as a whole school. But as you see this, you can see that we've increased our reading scores. We have 67 per students who are either at or above proficiency, and we've increased for 2% from the fall. 7th grade, 66% with an increase of 4% from the fall. And then our 8th grade is at 73% of our students are either meeting or exceeding proficiency, and we've increased by 7%. So what did we do, right? We have amazing students, amazing parent support, but we've been giving our teachers release days to review the SBAC practice tests and our data that we currently have, and then review the writing assessments. So it's the constant improvement. We're looking at our current information from our students and then letting that drive our instruction. We also have had many professional development days for our Jane Schaefer, which has really provided that support, instructional support for our students for last year, and we continue that support this year. For our math scores, we have 62% of our students in 6th grade who are either at or above proficiency, 55 in 7th grade, and 60% in 8th grade. Now, we did see a decrease from the fall to the spring, which that's been a typical trend that we do see. But just like we did last year, we are seeing an increase in math scores and our state scores from last year to this year. So the interventions that we did try last year worked. So we're going to start implementing our intervention math again during the school day, because we offer tutoring, but not as many students take advantage of that because they don't have either the ability or they're involved in other activities. So we're providing math intervention classes, which will start next week during the school day. We also have students that are strategically placed. We added this year, and our math advisory classes. So we have all 3 of our math teachers who are taking on specific students in their advisory, which is an extra 20 minutes in the morning to get it started off right, practice math scores, and really review the information that was taught, or a little bit from the day before. I've also given math teachers release day to review the common assessments that they've given, curriculum, and review assessment information from the practice test for SBAC. All right, the upcoming, we have a lot, so I'll just highlight a few. We have semester awards coming up on the 26th of September. We also have the Sullivan Middle School and Bonsall High School, ASB, that's going to be attending a leadership conference at Knott's. So they're both going on the same bus. So I'm excited about this. So we have this leadership partnership happening at both the middle and high school. This will be Sullivan's very first parent university. We are very excited about this. We're partnering with the Sheriff's Department, who's coming out for the first 45 minutes. And then I have 6 to 8. I'm really excited. I have like 8 teachers who are going to be giving presentations about academics, what we are currently doing in our math and language arts departments, and just how to survive as a middle school student and parent. So these are some things we're going to be providing that night for our parent university. And then we have the famous China banquet on February 6th. And then we are going to celebrate our school counselor, school psychologist, and other service providers during that week. We have to push it off a week because I think they're doing Spirit Week and some dance come the week before. So just to focus on those for there. I also want to, we've got our new PTO president, and I really want to thank her for this, to extend a heartfelt thank you to our Sullivan Middle School PTO and Wildcat families for the incredible support and generosity showing during our staff food day that was happening before spring or winter break. The kindness and care and delicious treats truly made us feel appreciated, and a special thank you to our PTO president, Desi Pena, for her leadership and dedication to our school community. We are so grateful for the continued love and support we receive from our families. It truly makes Sullivan a special place. Okay, on to Bonsall High School. They had a really cool float, and I think they had the most energy of the whole parade. Yes, I think Haley took it away. Haley, she did a great job. It is with great pride that I continue to share a moment of celebration. Before I get there, though, you can see I put Greg's picture up there again. Very proud of our speech and debate for that. Okay, yeah, okay. All right. Again, a congratulations to Greg for our California Teacher of the Year. It is with great pride that I continue to share a moment of celebration for one of our very own, Greg Hinchcliffe, who's been named California Teacher of the Year. This recognition represents the pinnacle of the teaching profession and places Greg among the elite group of educators whose impact reaches far beyond the classroom. As you have already heard, Greg is a teacher who cares deeply, not only about his students, but also about his colleagues, our school, and the broader community we serve. His commitment to students is evident in the relationship he builds, the high expectations he holds, and the way he consistently creates learning experiences that are meaningful, inclusive, and inspiring. Greg's work reflects a belief that every student deserves to be seen, supported, and challenged to reach their fullest potential. Beyond his classroom, Greg is a trusted leader and collaborator among our staff. He is generous with his time, shares his expertise freely, and models professionalism, humility, and dedication. His influence strengthens our school culture and reinforces the collective work we do every day to support students and families. It has been a true honor to be a part of Greg's celebration and to witness the recognition of his impact at the state level. His selection as California Teacher of the Year is not only a testament to his exceptional practice and the art of teaching, but also a reflection of the values we hold as a school community. Greg, we are incredibly proud and grateful for the example you set, and as an educator, leader, and advocate for our students and our Native community. Okay, I'm very proud to share several highlights from Bonsall High School that reflect the incredible leadership, talent, and commitment of our students, staff, and families, and community partners. Each month we recognize exceptional students, and we've just started implementing our Student of the Month. So you can see in this bottom picture that we've recognized. We were doing 4 students at every grade level, and we've been so fortunate to have Women's Bonsall Club be a part of this, that they give gift certificates to our seniors, and they come and they represent and just honor our seniors with that award. So thank you to the Bonsall Women's Club for being a part of that. Our students also proudly represent Bonsall High School at the Fallbrook Christmas Parade, marching alongside our festive Bonsall Blizzard Float. Students showcase school pride, creativity, and community spirit. The float was a crowd favorite and reflected the collaboration of students, staff, and families. It was a wonderful way to kick off the holiday season and to reinforce our connection to the Bonsall community. Academically, our students continue to shine through speech and debate. Bonsall High School students competed in regional SDIVSL tournaments alongside hundreds of students from across the region. Our debaters demonstrated confidence, strong reasoning, and professionalism, earning praise from judges and strong placements in novice and varsity divisions. These experiences highlight our students' willingness to take risks, engage in complex thinking, and grow as communicators and leaders. And our college and career readiness remains a priority at Bonsall High School. Recently, our 10th and 11th graders participated in the Design Your Future, a presentation led by our early college CTE coordinator, Miss Erin Barker, and Mr. Greg Hinchcliffe. Students explored academy pathways, early college opportunities through Palomar College, and industry experiences and certifications that allow them to earn college credit and build real-world skills before graduation. We're also excited, and this year we have the Interact Club, which is a new student-led service organization connected to Rotary International Interact Club. It provides students with meaningful opportunities for community engagement, leadership, and development volunteerism. And again, I'd like to thank our PING group, our parent group, for their generosity and support on our staff and campus. They provided sweet treats for the high school staff, and they've donated a bunch of furniture. We actually have really nice furniture that's in the staff lounge now for our teachers. And then lastly, we have our Academy Speaker Series. I know that Eddie has been a big part in organizing this and really reaching out, and he continues to reach out. We do have different speakers that have volunteered to come out to speak to our high school students and our symposium. So it's our different academies with the law and leadership, medical sciences, computer sciences, public service, and other career pathways. We have speakers that are attached to each one of these academies that do come out and present to our students. Again, our data for highlighting the STAR results, and this is school-wide for Bonsall High School. We do not have our 12th graders are taking the math because not all 12th graders are taking math. But as you can see, the STAR reading proficiency rate, so students, again, that are at or above, we have 69%. And then I went ahead and put where we were at last year at this time, which was 50% of our students. So we are seeing growth across the school. And then we have 67% of the students who are meeting their growth targets. So looking at that and then really breaking it down, maybe they're not proficient, but 67% of them are continuing to see growth. For our math, we were at 42% this year, last year at 44%, not too far off. But again, we had 66% of our students that are continuing to reach their growth targets. All right, some highlights. We have a lot going on, which is great. We have a lot of our students getting involved. We have a blood drive tomorrow. So if any of you would like to come up, give blood, we have our highest blood drive. We have 40 people signed up already. That's our highest amount. I know that she's going to talk about it a little bit. So we're excited about that. We also have our it's 'tis the season for speech and debate and mock trial. So mock trial, they do have their competition rounds 1 through 4 coming up in the next month. So that's going to be really big for us. And then again, we're excited. We've got CSUSM Innovation Hub that we've partnered with, that we do have students from each of the academies that will be attending there to learn more about career pathways. And then lastly, we had the valedictorian circle event that'll be happening on February 11th. And then lastly, I got to do a plug. At the end of this month, we have Frankenstein. That's going to be it. The students are so excited. It was supposed to be done a little bit earlier. I think everybody got that terrible flu. So we had to reschedule, and because there was only one person who didn't get sick. So we rescheduled for the end of this month. It's happening here, 7 p.m. for all 3 dates. So hopefully you can make it. They've worked really hard and they're very excited. And we do have Miss Emma, who has joined us. This will be her first time that she's doing this on her own. So come out and support her and our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal James. And that concludes our management reports, correct? Fantastic. So now we'll move on with our board reports, and we'll start with our student board member.
Happy New Year, first of all, and I hope everyone had a great holiday. Congratulations to Mr. Hinchliff for being California Teacher of the Year. He's very deserving of this recognition, and our students are appreciative every day of the hard work and devotion he puts in making sure we are heard and seen. So thank you very much. And of course, thank you to our board members who are always keeping our students in mind and putting us first. So we appreciate what you do every day. Thank you. And then it's also really amazing to see the 5th graders, still so young, being great leaders and also being recognized and further encouraged to continue being involved. So I'm sure that we'll see them continue being involved in during school and in their community in general. Regarding what's going on at the high school, girls and boys basketball is continuing to play well during the season, and we're looking forward to spring sports as well because interest meetings are starting, so we're looking forward to see track and field and boys volleyball as well. This is their 2nd year being a team, so we're very excited to see what they do this year. And then in ASB, right now we're just planning. So we're planning our next pep rally to honor our sports and have some student engagement. as well as planning academy clashes. And in regards to the academies, we have 4 clashes that we are going to be doing this year, which is where the academies compete against each other. And we don't want it to just be competition against the other academies, so we are also planning intra-academy activities focused on the actual academy. So medical club might do a workshop on first aid knowledge. That's what medical club's doing right now. So if medical club helps facilitate that, that would be great. So that's what we're planning currently. And then clubs, of course, as Miss James mentioned, Mock Trial has their first competition a week from today down in San Diego. So wishing them luck. I'm included. And then Red Cross has their blood drive tomorrow from 8:30 to around 1:30 in the NPR. And as Miss James also mentioned, they have their highest number of donors. And before it was 36, so that's amazing that it's now 40. And that's due to Aaron going to classes, going around and asking people for donations. So it's really effective. And the club is going really well under his leadership. And then Interact Club is new this semester. We had it last year as well, but it's just started late this school year. And it's a great space, an opportunity for students to get more involved in the community and get their community service and their hours for graduation. We are actually having an event in Balboa Park, January 31st, so the same day as Theater's Frankenstein play, where we will be giving backpacks and school supplies to students in need. We're looking forward to what this year brings us and everything it entails. Thank you.
Trustee Ortega.
Okay. I got 5 points. No. No, I just wanted to start off by saying that our policy of belong, believe, and achieve, listening to the stats with the ambassadors from the 5th grade, I think that's like the first step in having kids feel like they belong. When they're welcomed and they're escorted to classrooms, parents too. I think students actually get that really, really strong feeling that they belong there, not having people turn their backs on them, having people address them. And with our younger students, I think that's probably one of the best programs that we could be having. And then to follow it up, believe and achieve, I think we have, well, I've said this before, our numbers make us a small school district, but our teachers and staff make us a great school district. And Mr. Hinchliffe, of course, is a big part of that. And along with the second parts of our motto, belong, believe, and achieve, I think Mr. Hinchliffe goes really forward on teaching our kids to believe in themselves and then to achieve a lot of great things. And I know a lot of people would agree with me on the things that he's accomplished. I could go on and on about Mr. Hinchliffe. I met him when he first started out, and I saw him over in Paula and at an event that they were having out there for Native Americans. And I saw him there and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he goes, oh yeah, well, I heard about this. And I go, so nobody invited you here? You heard about it? And I mean, that's initiative, Nobody told him about what was going on there, but he thought it was important and he paid his fees to go there. And I think now he's one of the people that people would invite to do speeches at those kind of events because of the things that he's accomplished over the years. And he met a lot of incredible people at that event that he still collaborates with. And I believe you were up in Sacramento along with doing the curriculum for some of the things that started with that first year that you were here. And then to go up, I can't remember how many years you've been here, but it seems like 100 with everything you've accomplished. If you were to start telling people everything you've done here, they'd be going, how old are you? You know, because, yeah, to go up there and be one of the Teacher of the Year is just incredible, but it was going to come anyway because of all the things that you've been doing. And I also want to thank the board for, again, I always say that, you know, one of the things that the board can do is come up with ideas on things. That's not really our job. Our job is to really approve things. But, you know, we also have the ability to stop things. And when we have programs like this that are going successfully and stuff and we're not stopping them, I think that's one of the things that we could do best, is let people do what they're going to be doing, what's best for our kids, and we're not stopping it. So I applaud the board for, you know, showing the appreciation for everything that our teachers and staff are doing, our students are doing, and not stopping it, you know. Because one of the powers that we do have is the ability to say no. And yeah, we just don't even think about it. It's always like, how can we do this better? And I'm already talking with Mr. Hinchcliffe about more things they could do, and he's already adding on to that with other things that he wants to be doing. So I do see more great things coming from him. And, you know, I see that with a lot of our teachers, a lot of our staff. Just because we have one teacher that's recognized as Teacher of the Year, he does it in an environment that is conducive to creating, you know, great teachers. Not everybody could be Teacher of the Year. You know, I mean, just, you know, somebody's got to come in second. But when you're second to somebody doing such great things, it's not a bad place to be. And I guess that's all I have to say right now. And Happy New Year. And I actually missed out on that. I was out of town. I was over in Arizona, so I missed out on the big flu thing and everything, so, and the rains and stuff. I didn't see any of that. But I'm glad everybody's back and healthy now, and looking forward to the rest of a really great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. And Ms. Dombrowski, Dr. Dombrowski, looking forward to hearing your first board report.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for giving your reports, and congratulations to you, Mr. Hinchcliffe. Is that how you say it? Yes. Okay. That's a really huge honor in this huge state of California, to get that award. So if you can't hear it, I am from Michigan originally. The Midwest, the long A, will come out every so often, and I joined this board and, you know, submitted my application for this position because I care deeply and I'm an advocate for children's health. I have been doing this for my whole career, probably started way back when I was in high school myself, and working on these things. And so that's really why I wanted to serve in this position. I'm really excited to, you know, work in this district. There's lots of, you know, very wonderful, exciting things happening. But I think, as you were mentioning, Jen, you know, we do need to look ahead to the future and for a potential, you know, bond proposal to be able to work on our facilities needs that we need to meet for the district, and to be able to move forward, you know, to have a healthier environment for our kids to go to school in. I have one son in 6th grade at Bonsall West right now. I have a 2-year-old at home, so I loved hearing about the TK, you know, active engagement in the classroom and doing social emotional learning, because I'm in that toddler phase right now with him. And so I'm just, you know, very excited to engage with the community. I look forward to having the first town hall, I think, of all the board on February 26th at Bonsall West. And I'm definitely, you know, someone who's going to listen and take into heart, you know, all of the needs and opportunities for this district. So thank you.
Trustee Merchat.
No report tonight.
Short, okay.
Wow.
Trustee Gaddis.
So I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. How many Mr. Hinchcliffes are there? Because, and the reason I ask this is because every single time I see a report, I see all these pictures, and everywhere there's Mr. Hinchcliffe, everywhere. It's impossible for you to be in so many places. You must have clones or twins or triplets or something. No, but I just want to say that, you know, that this is one of those honors that did not surprise me at all. I mean, I've seen him work hard through the speech and debate program. I've seen him do so much, countless and countless hours. And his involvement in the school is just incredible. I call him behind the scenes Mr. Bonsall, because, I mean, he's literally everywhere. He's like the face of the school at this point. And I think it's one of those honors that is really, really well deserved. So thank you for everything that you do, because I mean it. I mean, I've seen you in action, and I've seen you there all those long hours, and I see how much you care. I see how much you work with your students, and we see it and we appreciate it, and I am so happy and proud that you're part of this district. That's all I have to say about that. Second thing I want to talk about is ambassadors, and I think that I liked seeing the student ambassadors here as well. And I'll tell you why, because, you know, when you're a small child and you're going to school, it can be very intimidating, especially when you see all these big people. And the reality is that we're all kindergartners repeatedly, right? So we're kindergartners in the elementary school. Then we go to Sullivan, right? And then all of a sudden there's people there. Then you go to high school and there's all these people that look like adults there. Then you go to college and it's the same thing. So I just think that if there's a program that can help people little small students not be intimidated by their fellow larger students, and to show that kind of camaraderie and to show that kind of caring, I think that is an incredible program. I also think the encouragement of public service is really, really good, because that's where it starts, right? The foundation of not just worrying about yourself, but giving to others, and I think that it's a great way to do that. So I'm glad that program's there. The other, I just want to end real quick on a question, because our music teacher, you said, is gone, the one who did the strings. So what are we doing with our strings program now? Do we have another person that can continue that program? Not yet. Because what you were talking earlier about our ability to continue things that are good and positive, and I think in this particular instance, it's really sad to lose someone like that, because it's a very unique set of skills that she brought and was teaching, and I thought it was a very unique opportunity for our Bonsall. So I would very much strongly encourage us to find somebody who knows how to teach the strings, so that we can continue that program as soon as possible, because that's something that makes Bonsall unique versus a lot of the other schools in the area. And I don't want to lose something that we built so well, because they've come in here and they've played for us. I've seen pictures of them giving concerts. I don't want that to go away. So whatever it takes, whatever we need to do, please let us know, because the longer we wait, the more distance, and people, we're not going to prioritize it. I think we need to make sure we get that. So anyway, that's what I got.
Thank you, Trustee Gaddis. So I have a little bit of words today, so indulge me as I pontificate. I would like to start by thanking my fellow trustees for the confidence you have placed in me to continue serving as the president of the Bonsall Unified School District for a sixth consecutive year. And more importantly, I value the way that this board works together. We carry out our service with a shared sense of responsibility to our students and to our community. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Rachel Dombrowski as our newest trustee. Thank you for your willingness to serve, and I look forward to your perspectives and collaboration as part of this governing body. In 2026, it is important to ground our work in a shared understanding of where we are headed. I offer this vision statement as a guide. Designing spaces to flourish means creating learning environments that elevate Bonsall Unified and strengthen our entire community, supporting rooted growth as we move forward together. It is worth noting how this board has governed during our collective tenure. Since I assumed the role of board president, I cannot recall a formal vote that was not unanimous. That consistency shows more than agreement. It reflects a governing culture shaped by respect, careful listening, and thoughtful decision-making. That same approach has carried Bonsall Unified through significant change. Most of us were elected in 2018, and together this board has hired 2 superintendents, navigated the challenges of COVID, and helped Bonsall Unified become one of the first districts in California to reopen safely for students. We have expanded rigorous and relevant learning opportunities through the academies at Bonsall High School, strengthening pathways that prepare students to be future-ready lifelong learners. These experiences matter. They demonstrate this board's capacity to lead through complexity while remaining grounded in core values. Today, our context continues to evolve. More than 1,200 new homes are already in various stages of build-out within the district. That level of activity brings both opportunity and responsibility and calls for planning that is intentional, ensuring that our facilities, programming, and learning environments evolve in ways that are thoughtful, well-aligned, and consistent with our mission, vision, and core values. Community participation in these conversations has already been strong, and that engagement matters. Many additional meetings and forums are scheduled to continue listening, sharing information, and working through options together. Extensive and transparent information is available at bonsallusd.com. At its core, this board's role is stewardship. We are responsible for the long-term health of Bonsall Unified. That means designing spaces to flourish, places that support strong programs, student well-being, and the needs of our community today and into the future. Even our district logo reflects this shared journey, honoring the history of our one-room schoolhouse past while building bridges to new educational pastures ahead. As our work continues, a few questions help anchor effective governance. How do we balance near-term pressures with our obligation to plan for students who have not yet walked through our doors? How do we ensure that the choices we make today strengthen Bonsall Unified for the long term and serve our entire community well? Thank you to my fellow trustees, our superintendent, teachers, staff, and community for your continued partnership. The work ahead is important, and I look forward to the future that we are shaping together while acknowledging those who came before us dating back to 1895. As we move through an election year, it is my sincere hope that this board remains focused on steady, values-driven governance and on serving the public good. And that brings us to agenda item number 7, our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Bringing us now to our information items. We have a presentation on facilities planning. Ms. Caroline Brown, is that you? Come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year for those of you who haven't seen yet. We have a presentation tonight on the facilities planning. What I'd like to do is run through some of the items that we talked about at the board study session last week, and then talk a little bit about some of the survey data that we've collected to date, and then update you on some new information regarding SDCTA and some of the GeoBond timelines, and then talk a little bit about the study session on February 3rd and what you would like us to prepare for that. We have our framework of the future. I believe we went over this in the superintendent's report, so we won't spend time on that. And so at the session on last Wednesday, we discussed the demographics. Nothing new, just thought I'd supply this information again so that the broader community can see that we've got a short-term decline in our TK5, the replacement classes of those cohorts. We're reflecting now the low birth rates that are from 2017 to 2020. We have significant loss of student mobility in the grade levels 8 to 9 and some other grade levels across the district. But we are going to have some growth coming with the new residential units that Larissa Anderson just mentioned about too. This is a repeat of the district mobility comparison. All of the red are under 95% retention going year over year. And you can see our lowest retention rate is between 8th and 9th grade. This is the summary of our dwelling units that are coming in. We've got Citro and Campus Park, Ocean Breeze, and the Havens right on knocking at our door. So now I'm going to transition to the financial data. Some of you, this is what you've seen, but we wanted to have the broader community see the financial update. This is the rate that Fieldman Roll-Up has supplied to us. Standard & Poor's and Moody's were very highly rated because of our strong fiscal accountability. Historical assessed value from 2004 to 2026. We have a steady increase in our assessed value, especially in the past 10 years, and we are at about $5.6 billion in assessed value. In the lower right corner, if we were to assess a GO bond in the future, we have a gross bonding capacity of about 141 million, which is about 30 million more than what we were contemplating had accessible in 2024. We have some outstanding debt of 8.9 million, so our net bonding capacity is about 132 million. And then if you take a look at the tax rolls, Bonsall Unified is at $19.71 per $100,000 of assessed value. And so it's quite low in comparison to some of our area districts. So San Diego Unified has almost $375 per $100,000 of assessed value because they have multiple bonds that are assessed on their tax rolls right now. And then you can see that Coronado has the lowest, and we're just down there in the lowest quartile. And so that's $19 per 100,000 of assessed value. We can assess $60 per $100,000 of assessed value for a TK-12 district, and it's $30 for an elementary. So if we look at sizing the bonds, we could do a $25 per $100,000 assessed value, and we would project being able to assign projects of $42 million. At $30 per $100,000 assessed value, that would be about $51 million. And then up $40 and $50 and $60. So the maximum would give us approximately $102 million that we could spend on district projects. So it's time, if we're going to take a look at doing a November election, it's time for us to procure our consulting team, whether we are going to do a communication consultant or a survey consultant. And then the finance team members are pretty much all taken care of with the group that we engaged with on the last round. A little bit of new information from the Taxpayer Association. We are sticking with the 3-month, 6-month prior schedule for now, but new guidance is being developed, and they are going to probably loosen up the requirements and lift some of them, and they will be approved at the next board meeting for SDCTA and then communicated back to us. But for right now, they do want us to stick to this guideline, especially in the letter of intent if we do intend to do a bond. And then at the meeting, we had a little bit of a discussion around the development of GERD Road and what that might look like. We dove into a little bit of public-private partnerships and where our assets are and how they could be configured. No decisions were made at that time. So then we spent a lot of time at the study session discussing the survey questions, and we revamped them and did a pilot as promised at the January staff meeting. So we've currently got 103 responses collected to date, and I'm going to provide you with a little bit of a summary, knowing that as we expand, this data will change as we're getting more information from people. So we have quite a bit of spread across the schools, and then obviously it would be mostly district employees so far, but some district employees are community members and their parents, and their parents are former students. So we're double dipping on the 103 there. So the facilities priorities, the top 4 priorities are around replacing aging portables, ensuring we have adequate space, rebuilding or modernizing, and building a new secondary middle high school. And then the other priorities, long-term capacity for enrollment, cost control, improving traffic, building a new elementary, minimizing construction impacts through the phased building, and environmental considerations were of lesser priority. For one of the questions on the survey is to whether we should develop GERD Road and what's your support level for that. We had high support in 74 and 18, supported or somewhat supported. We had some neutrals that were unsure because they needed more information, and some somewhat disagrees and strongly disagrees, and looks like there was 3. So the somewhat supportive and strong supportive, out of the 92 that clicked that answer, 53 responded with narrative responses. So it's in order of 41% was concerned with overcrowding and inadequate existing facilities. So 22 of the 53 commented on that. 18 of the 53 commented on the district owns the land and should use it. 20 of the 53 had comments around the opportunity to build modern and future-ready schools. And then the lesser 16 of 53, flexibility for strategic, creative, cost-effective solutions across a middle school, high school, elementary. And then enrollment growth, 14 out of 53 responded that we needed to address the increasing enrollment of the new developments coming in. Of the 8 neutral responses, 6 provided narrative, and they were around these, wanting more information, what are the implications, how much is it going to cost, and it's just unclear. So there are some questions that we would need to answer as we go through the process. And then the opposition, we had 3 that somewhat disagreed or strongly disagreed, 2 provided narrative responses. Join another school district, go back to Fallbrook. Local neighborhood opposition, perhaps Gerd Road residents don't want to build a school. And then perhaps there's some disruptive alternates like performing arts or agriculture, nursery, farm-based uses, etc. And then on the grade level configurations, we had quite a bit of support, strongly support and somewhat support. The TK 6, 7, 8, and 9, 12 configuration. We had 77 that were in the strongly support or somewhat support, and then 7 neutral, unsure, needed more information, and then 19, look at that, me doing math in public, 19 somewhat oppose and strongly oppose. And of those comments, we had, of the 77 that strongly supported or somewhat, we had 13 narrative responses, and they're summarized here in support for separation of middle and high. TK model offers consistency, system-wide consistency, thoughtful matriculation, strong design. If we were to do a good design of a 712, if it was very sufficient and designed to be separate with shared efficiencies for some of the facilities, and then a concern about capacity. And then there are neutral responses. 7 were clicked on neutral. We had 3 that provided narrative responses, and they're summarized here. 100% of them were separation between middle and high as a condition. And the model would be, adequate staffing levels, sufficient building capacity, physical and programmatic separations. And there was a comparison to a private school where the private schools do this all the time, so there is a way to configure the sites that it would be successful to have multiple ages. And then the summary of a somewhat disagree and strongly disagree. Of the 19 that clicked those boxes, we had 10 that provided narrative responses. And there was some opposition of a 712 campus, some comments about maturity, student experiences, not combining the ages, the 12-year-olds with high school students, etc. And then the next, we'll jump to the funding and financing options. We had listed out the GEO bond, developer fees, private-public partnership, joint use, and the other ones that are there. The highest priority is to go after state and federal facilities funding. and developer fees and general obligation bonds, and then explore the public-private partnership. So those were the top options that people were supportive of. And then the level of support for a future bond, out of the 103 respondents, we had 83 strongly, so highly support or support, whereas we had very little response on the little support or no support. Some moderate support in the 18 respondents. And so we then had the respondents do a partnership model, sort of what do you think we should explore? So they are in order of preference, so performing arts, media, community use, medical use, senior housing, and then came the retail and the research, and then hospitality, lodging, workforce housing, and limited residential. And then out of the responses, we had 21 that clicked other, 14 of which were sports, gym, aquatic, and ice rink. 6 of them were ag, farm, equestrian, and 4 community youth after school. And there were 3 other unique ones that was a civic building, a trade school, or low-income housing. And then we have a level of support. We have some people that would be interested in future engagement opportunities if we had some more design meeting or advisory meetings or community meetings. And then some said maybe we would, and then 41 were, no, I'm not interested in coming. And so then I guess what we want to do is launch into a conversation about the next steps on the facilities survey and how we're going to roll it out, and if there's anything that we need to consider before we roll it out the rest of the way.
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, I was looking at the data, which is nice. I like the graphs; they're very well done. Except for the fact that 95. How many respondents did we have, and how many were district? It's kind of like we're pulling within our own people.
That's right, because that was the first phase, was to test the survey against a group at the meeting on Monday. And so we haven't gone out farther than that yet.
Yeah, because I think that's probably the real telling data that we need, because, you know, obviously there's going to be a stronger support for education and facilities within our own people. So I think we need to just look outside that to kind of get an idea, because that's where, you know, we've been through these bond elections several times. And I think one of the things that we failed on many times is really getting in touch with the people. And I mean, we send out flyers and we do these things, but I mean, I'm talking about really grassroots, get in, you know, let's get people's advice, let's talk to them. And so I think that if we're going to do something, we got to do it the right way this time, and we've got to look outside the box. We just don't, I mean, sure, can get a marketing group that came in just like we did last time and the time before, but we really need to think about what works, how do people see things, right? They see things in different ways, right? Depending on who they are. And I think if we're going to do something like this, we need to really have a detailed plan on how we're going to reach out to everyone, all the stakeholders in our community. Because I think we have not done that well in the past, despite our efforts to do so. Obviously, the results prove that we have not. So I think, to me, that's the most imperative thing.
Dr. Golly, do you want to comment on the next steps?
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I had serious concerns after, you know, getting the rewrite of the questions of them actually adding any perspective that would help me make a decision going forward. So I rewrote questions, and I realized that puts a little monkey wrench, and I'd be more than happy to meet with people to kind of go over what my thinking is. Okay. Do you have him, Dr. Golly?
I do. So, and I can summarize just a little bit. That's what I was about to indicate. is that trustee reached out to me and said that wasn't sure if there was enough context in some of the questions in order to go out to the broader community. Right now, we've been able to share this with staff, and staff has a lot more understanding, more nuanced understanding of where we are and where we've been. But to go out to a broader community, what was expressed, and let's see if I can pull that up in front of me, is that the first question that deals directly with development of Gerd Road property, let me see if I can find it. The comment was that right now, it's not asking, should the district do something? And it's not asking or giving multiple choice options, and also not providing funding. If I've captured that correctly, Trustee Merchat, let me know.
Is it possible to
Let me,
access the thing that you sent to me and then I marked up? And I know I'm not very good at that, but I did mark it up.
yes.
through the
If
Google.
I share this with board data, is that what you'd like? To actually put it up on the screen?
Yeah, might as well put it up. I mean,
Because I think I can just do it with board data. It's coming through now. And before we dive into the red lines that are being proposed by one trustee, I want to acknowledge our Bonsall Teachers Association representative with your commentary that you made already today. And also, I know that this has been a heavy lift. I think that the district staff did an excellent job of incorporating the changes that, were done in public session at last Wednesday's facility session. So I personally think, so I just want to give a counterpoint before we deep dive into potential red lines to even consider. Because I think that the survey tool represented exactly what the board has been asking for following the December meeting, where we had the introduction of the PPPs, the public-private partnerships. And I, as the board president, asked for applause because there's a fundamental question that has been lingering on my mind, twice been, shy. I don't know, there's some adage there that I can't quite put together completely in a coherent sentence, apparently. But I think that that question, the way it's phrased right now, asks directly of both the general internal community and the general external community, should we move forward with a general external survey, exactly the piece of the equation that's been missing in all the dialogue that we've been having to date. So, and then in terms of, there's been all sorts of discussion of configurations and programming, and to Trustee Merchat's commentary at last week's facility session, he said, it's really up to the board to decide, and I agree. I think that we have gone above and beyond in trying to come up with plans where we then came, trying so hard to avoid the stigmatized property that the district owns in the middle of the district for, and it's been designated an educational site for 40 years, that, we've been kind of pussyfooting around, and trying, and, our last bond, we specifically asked, our last bond attempt, that we wanting to do anything on Gerd Road, trying to come to some sort of, process. And so, that failed. We didn't have the money to buy a new piece of property that would be smaller to have an elementary school. Clearly, and it's interesting, even from an internal perspective, there's not really that as much interest to build an elementary school as there is to build a secondary school. So, and we didn't have that data point earlier either. Looking at just the data from the internal community, that's more information than I've seen.
You can go back. When it's my turn to speak, then we'll get to it.
Right.
But we can go to the beginning. Question one.
I'm not driving.
Oh.
Thank you. He's driving.
He was getting excited to look at things, I guess, there.
No, I wanted you guys to see what I proposed, and then I can tell you my reasoning, and maybe you have a different thought, but keep going.
Before we get there, I think the survey is excellent. I I think the survey is excellent. I think the survey accomplishes exactly what the board has directed, district staff to do. And then also, should we pull a trigger on a bond? One of the things that I don't think that I've personally felt that we've gotten complete value for in the past are these marketing companies that come in and ask generic questions of our community that has a long-standing historical precedent as it relates to previous attempts to engage in land use. So I personally think that even this survey, as is right now, community launched, would provide better construct for us to make a go bond decision than anything that I've seen with the last 2 bond attempts that we've engaged in. Personally, three bond attempts. So that being said, now let's go through the red lines.
Okay, so I would agree that any survey outside company, what I've seen, doesn't add any benefit to the district. But in this, we're going to go down to, don't forget about the red line, let's go down to the question, because is anyone who's in control?
Christian.
Okay, could you go down to the
have access
question?
to the screen.
Question 1?
Yeah.
Keep going. Perfect, stop.
Back.
Stop, go back.
There you go.
Right there. So what I wanted to do with frame this is frame what are the problem that we have, which is we have a high percentage of portables that are very old and they're beyond their useful life. Okay? And as you can see, I put number of portables. I don't know the number. I just know I've heard 90%. Sullivan, these can all be filled in. The amount of money we have to spend, and then you look at the answers, okay? Should the district, okay, if we scroll up just a little bit, 1, replace the portals with new portables of the Sullivan site at a cost of, I put in 18 million. Don't know if that's the number, but we should know that number. This most likely can be done without a general obligation support. Replace the portables with permanent construction at the Sullivan site. This would cost, again, question mark, $30 million, require general obligation support. Build new 7 through 12 grade level on Gerd Road. Based on, now, one of the things that I put in there, I know that there's support for a 9 through 12. And, oh, you said you put in 110 million. I thought I had 100 million, but you upped that. I had 100. So somebody put 110. The reason I had put in there about based on if you take we need to run the numbers, but if you take a look at a middle school and a high school, they have some synergy being on the same campus. As we divide those, put them 15 minutes apart, doesn't matter, we now have, each one of those campuses will need more expense. We'll need cafeteria, we need janitors, we need more office people. We're presently running at a deficit, okay? So if now we're adding to that deficit spending. So if I don't want to be in a position where we build a school and then we have to come back to our employees and say, we need to bring this money out of the general fund.
Okay, I want to stop us right here because this is derailing the focus that the board has already created and given direction on. This goes right back to what we discussed last week, that our survey tool was dysfunctional because it was reading at a level that the general population doesn't have the context nor understands. And as somebody who actually did market research professionally with, I wish I had I was talking earlier about, we have Esquire and EDD and PhD. I have an MSBA. I taught statistics. I did market research professionally. This is not a viable survey that would provide information on an item by item basis to have clear answers from our populations, regardless of who those populations are, either if they're our internal constituents for our staff and teachers, or if they're going to be our external general community. This is asking at least 7 different things in one question, and it can be potentially misleading. It's offering solutions, and again, our board level decision making that we didn't have until right now, and I only have a piece of it. I think that we need to move the survey that we have into the community, and then we'll have the complete picture that even maybe as early as the next workshop, we can then at least start talking amongst us. This is a board level conversation. This is what we discuss at the dais or around the table when we're doing a facilities workshop. This is not to go to the general public. I mean, and we have information, we have context. If there's people in the general public as we move forward with our town halls and with our engagement, then we can create looking at cost analysis and different programming options. But we need the high level data that I think that the current survey that has been put out to the profession, during professional development, that is providing us and able to move forward. So as far as I'm concerned, that this is completely not in the realm of the scope of what the board direction is, or in terms of the data that we need to clearly make next steps with some general high level understanding. We're not asking for every member of our community to become a board member. We've all gone out and campaigned or been appointed, as the case may be. In some cases, we've been working on these land use issues as it relates to some of the people in this audience and that are here in this room, and as myself personally, I've been working on this land use issue directly since I've been here since 2012. And there's people who've been doing it before then. And the site, if you go to the SaveGirdValley.com website, there's all this history as it relates to the obstructionist politics that have happened since the 60s. This starts to create levels of complication that we need to cut through with laser precision as a board and be able to start making decisions that are not looking at convoluting the problem, but to create laser focused solutions. And I think that the current survey tool that is on the table is doing a great job. And as far as I can see right here, this is absolutely not appropriate, and we should just stop the conversation right here and just look at, do we as a board think that the current survey, we've all had access to take a look at it, and I've loved the fact that we've been unanimous in our approach, but if we have to somehow divide at this course of time in order to direct our staff so that we can meet the potential timeline if we're to go for a bond, and I'm not sure going for a bond this year is the appropriate thing to do, but I see a urgency. And the only way we're going to meet that is if we make a decision right now that we push out the survey as is. It's been piloted. I see the data on this screen as better data than we've had in years. And I'd like to see that extended to the community. Get hundreds of survey respondents in the community. Then we can sit around the table on February 3rd and we talk about things like this. And we talk about whether we want to go for a go bond. That's where we're at right now from my perspective. Again, I'm going to cut you off again. It has nothing to do with dollar values, Mr. Murchat. Trustee Murchat, it has nothing to do because
when I make a decision as a person, if I'm going to go buy a car.
But we're not offering, I'm going to cut you off again. We are not offering solutions right now. We need a high level data point so that we can effectively make timelines that are being presented to us as a board. And I don't want to we had a long, productive meeting last week as a board workshop. We had a survey tool that went to the entire board. And we have a survey
I'll cut you off there because I felt that I made a number of comments and they were not addressed. Okay? I made a number of comments. Okay? That we need to be very specific on what we're going to do. We're going to build a gymnasium. That's going to cost us $18 million.
And again, we don't even have the data elements we need in order to be able to make those decisions, Roger. We need to have high-level information in order to be able to make these decisions. And I am, at this point, we need to look as trustees, and I can go back to the speech that I wrote in introduction to this meeting. I am very proud of what we've accomplished. It is time that we address the elephant in the room. We rip off the Band-Aid. We put GERD Road on the table as a general concept. We get the feedback, and then we sit around the table, and this is what we talk about on February 3rd.
Okay. Obviously, we have a difference of opinion. Let's go to the second question. I have very few questions. Okay, so Bonsall Question 2 would be Bonsall Unified District owns 50 acres land on Gerd Road. Give me a little more room there, sir. How should the district proceed with the school property in Gerd Road? Look to pass the general.
We've already circumvented the main question that I asked very specifically in the December meeting, which is, should the district explore building a school on Gerd Road? That is question that that's the whole reason why we paused and we didn't talk about, hey, let's move forward with the CEQA. Hey, let's go and do explore PPPs. I paused us in December and I said, we need to have a very high level general question that says, should we even rip off the Band-Aid and look at Gerd Road in conceptually? So you've already circumvented that with this proposal.
Well, no, I'm saying, should you look to build do a general obligation bond?
We talk.
Tell them the amount, okay?
We talk about a general obligation bond as one of the options of funding mechanisms that we should explore in the survey.
No, but cost, in other words, they know a bond will cost money. They should be given some context of what that is. We know what these things cost. But if you tell me, hey, we need $10 million or $10 million to build a high school,
we might not necessarily need a general obligation bond if we have a private-public partnership that has deep pockets.
Look at answer number 2. Maximize income from Gerd site to augment funds for construction at Sullivan Middle School and other sites as needed. Then it says, the other one says C question 4, this says C question 3. Again, we're saying, hey, there's things we can do to get our own money. If we don't.
Talk about that. Can you bring up the question that, we have a presentation of, should we explore funding from the state? Should we explore a GOA bond? Should we explore that looks at all of the things.
As a person that would read this, I would say, yeah, go get the money from everybody else. Go get it from the state, go get it from the federal government.
And that's exactly what I did when I took the survey.
And guess what? Go get it from everybody else. Don't get it from me, though.
And then you can do that.
That would be me as a homeowner, just say. Not as a board member, but as a homeowner, that's what I'd say. Yeah, go.
And that's the option then. You can click every single box. You can click every single box and you can leave the general obligation bond unchecked as a person who's tax adverse. That is one of the mechanisms in the survey that you would be allowed to do. That survey, I think, does exactly what we need as a board in order to sit around in February and be able to make decisions that we've been dancing around and not clearly, because, again, to your point, we need to have a plan. But we can't plan without some high-level data points. This now brings the level of planning, trustee-level planning, to the general population, which is inappropriate. We're not looking to generate an entire community of wannabe trustees. We're looking to get data points.
I'm looking for where we can get support, okay?
Well, and we asked those questions in the survey. So, I'm comfortable at this time to take it to the vote with the board in terms of providing direction. That is the survey as presented that was piloted with our teachers and staff.
We have 2 more questions to go through.
Okay, go ahead.
You've already made your decision, so you don't, let's go to number 3. Keep going.
That's a lot of red lines.
Oh, yeah, I want to be short and sweet. Because people will have the district is looking at a public-private partnership, PPP, to maximize income to help fund and build school facilities. No specific project or agreement is being proposed. You go up a little further, sir.
I like that. You didn't redline that as much on that one. That's good.
Which potential PP concepts would you be most open to exploring conceptually? Okay. Rank all options. So, yeah, it's the same question. So in other words, what would you get support? Now, in this, I do think that when you look at that, we're trying to facilitate more votes for what we want to do is get money. We should meet with the people that are most affected in the community. So in other words, I don't live in Sycamore Ranch, but if we talk to the people in Sycamore Ranch, that would be where I would go. For instance, if we had a blank piece of land at Bonsall West.
Well, isn't that what the town hall is supposed to be for? So that you can talk to the constituents?
What I'm saying is if you look at this, If we had a blank piece of property on Bonsall West, I would not be somebody who lives in Good Valley be saying, oh, I don't care what you do. You want to put up Albertsons there? I don't care.
No,
You know
of
what I
course
mean?
they're going to care.
They're
of
going to care,
course,
right?
yeah.
But the people who are going to care the most and should have the most to say are those people who live in
You know, Roger, I'm going to capitulate on this one a little bit. I'm going to agree with you to a degree. I think that one of the questions that's in this survey actually talks about what part of the district do you live in. And there is the ability to say, I live in off the 76, I live in the new neighborhood of Citro. We can look at specifically pulling out the answers for those people who indicate that they live in the Gerd Valley. And I would be very much actually very willing to entertain looking at what are the priorities of the Gerd Valley residents as opposed to the people who live in the rest of the district at large, and take a look at what are those differences and where can we emphasize, you know, what here. Let me backpedal also for a second. Unrelated to this specifically, I was yesterday at the Board of Supervisors meeting in downtown San Diego, where there is a socially equitable cannabis ordinance that the supervisors are considering. And I did a little riddle me this, and I gave a public comment yesterday. And the riddle me this is that we have, in fact, you know what, I'm just going to pull up my speech because I think it's appropriate. So let me open
By the way,
it.
if you want to put a pot farm on our property, I would object to that.
Well, so it looks like somebody's already seen what I might have been saying, but let me open recent. Okay. Good morning, honorable supervisors. Thank you for your service. My name is Larissa Anderson, president of the Bonsall Unified School District for the 6th consecutive year, and chair of the Bonsall Community Sponsor Group. I am here today because I love my community. I am here today because I love San Diego County. I'm here today because I love the United States of America. I'm here today because I love planet Earth. Both BUSD and BCSG independently, unanimously submitted letters urging no option on the socially equitable cannabis ordinance. I also spoke before the Planning Commission before this proposal was advanced with even fewer protections. What's before you today is not simply a cannabis policy, it is a land use decision with irreversible educational, public health, and moral consequences, especially for rural communities. Let me ground this in reality. Bonsall Unified spans 88 square miles of semi-rural San Diego County. In the absence of appropriate state and local facilities funding, we have tried to build adequate secondary facilities through multiple failed bond measures, each undermined by NIMBY obstructionist politics for decades. We have land constraints, we have infrastructure constraints, we have zoning obstacles that make it extraordinarily difficult to site a new school. At its core, our work in education is about designing spaces to flourish, places that support learning, purpose, health, teamwork, and long-term community stability. And yet, here is the paradox I need you to sit with. We cannot fast-track a school, but under this ordinance, we can fast-track industrial-scale cannabis cultivation, including in proximity to existing and future school sites under the banner of social equity. So let me pose a hypothetical, but a legally plausible one under the framework you are considering. Imagine a future Bonsall secondary campus finally built through a public-private partnership because traditional funding failed us. Now imagine a large-scale cannabis grow operation co-located next door, approved more quickly than the school itself. Students arriving each morning to learn. Student athletes training, practicing, and competing as close as 600 feet, 1.67 football fields away. Young people spending formative hours breathing particulates, handling plant material, and normalizing daily proximity to a product we simultaneously warn them to avoid. Is that the legacy you want attached to your vote? Is that what equity looks like for rural children? Because to us, this feels like extraction, not equity. It feels like sacrifice zones, not opportunity zones. I want to say something personal, carefully, and respectfully. I have a neurodiverse loved one who during COVID, when schools shut down, athletics disappeared, and structure vanished, he struggled, like so many young people did. Marijuana compounded that struggle. Today, he is a person of faith. And he will tell you, unprompted, that access to cannabis should be more limited, not less than what we have today. Vista is already a cannabis corridor. Supervisors, you have influence. Influence and influenza both derive from the same root word. One describes what moves through a population. The other describes what infects it. Your votes shape what is normalized. Your votes determine what is built nearby. Your votes shape what our children breathe, see, and come to accept as inevitable. So I ask you to pause and consider this decision not just as policymakers, but as stewards. Is this the legacy, this the influence you want attached to your legacy? Is this what you want remembered as the environment you helped create for our children? This is not about demonizing cannabis. It is about where, how, and at whose expense we scale it. If our county can accelerate development that degrades community health faster than it can support schools that lift children toward purpose, schools intentionally designed as spaces to flourish, then something is profoundly out of alignment. I ask you on behalf of educators, parents, students, and future generations to pause. So I agree with you, Roger. I don't think that we should have a marijuana farm on the 50 acres that the district owns in the middle of Gerd Road. But I do think we should have a school. And I think that our survey tool that we have designed and that's already been presented to our internal staff and has already been given a stamp of approval by a Bonsall Teachers Association representative here at this meeting starting today is all that we need to move it forward to the rest of the community and then be able to make an informed decision as to where we go next at our February 3rd meeting.
Well, here's my opinion on this. I've listened to both your sides. So I think you're both talking about the same thing, but at different points in time. It seems like one is talking about a macro level. Let's see generally where the general, and you're looking at more strategic, and so I think I guess the big question that we need to ask ourselves is which one is more appropriate at this point in time, because I think Roger's being like, well, I think they need to make a practical decision. And I think Larissa's saying, well, we need a general decision so we can start progressing towards that. So the question is, do we ask more specific? And the only other question I have with Rogers is I think sometimes people might not know what general obligation bonds are. I don't think that some of those things I don't think they know, so they might get confused by your questions because it might be too technical for them at this point.
So can I just add?
We get opinions from people that say, I don't, building a third doesn't bother me. What I want to make sure we do is get the money. And if we get to the point and say, hey, we're gonna go for $100 million on this property, and everyone goes, oh, wait a second. Yeah, I said yes 6 months ago, but now you're asking me for this much money.
I don't think we're even at the point yet to ask how much money somebody's willing to pay because we don't have a plan to present. Unless we have a pretty picture that says, this is what we're looking to accomplish, and we haven't had that discussion as a board. And I'm going to go right back to what you said last week. These are board level decisions, and we need some data elements in order to inform our board level decisions before we go to the public with that general question. And that's what Carolyn was bringing up in terms of our marketing survey that company that we might need to hire. But that's a very simple, we just follow up with, okay, now we got what we have. Here's a general plan. will you be willing to pay this money for investing towards this general plan that we have created as a board? And I think
you're at step 2. I think this survey's a step 1, and then I think you're already at step 2. And we don't even know the amount. I mean, you were putting numbers in there, but we don't know the exact amounts of these things.
We will not know the exact amounts until it happens. We really need to get away from the volume. Like, how much are we gonna get from the, if you do a PPP?
Yeah.
We're gonna get some money, but if you just start to do the math in your head, okay, you're not gonna get $50 million. I mean, this guy comes in and says, oh, your property's worth $50 million. You're like,
Trustee Marchette, could I offer something that we had talked about is perhaps in this first survey, since it's more high level, could we link information that we've put together some significant information that shows, for example, this kind of configuration would be this much money, like tack that kind of dollar amount to something so that at least, even though this is high level, at least there would be more information that they could go to where they could see that, because I do think that the next step then would be, okay, people seem to think that they are interested in a general obligation bond. Have we defined it? Do they know what that is? We could maybe look at how we could add a definition here. And next level, what would they actually be willing to support at what level if they fully understand the funding mechanisms, like how much money it would affect them personally on the assessed value of their home? Is that something that would perhaps help?
I think when you have a survey, we all take, I mean, you go to use the porta potty and you get something, your email that says, hey, we can take the porta potty. I mean, it doesn't matter if you go see the doctor. It's like after a while, you're like, no, I'm not taking it. So you really need to be something short and sweet. If you think I have to go to the board to do your survey, I'm not going to do it. But being honest here, and us, we live this
You
stuff.
also had several open-ended questions on that survey revision, and that they will not fill that out. I mean, we saw that just with the staff, we had 18 out of 100 and something fill out qualitative information.
no, it was more than that. It was depending on the question. I mean,
Depends on which question it was.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe a little more, but still, just among the staff, like, people do not complete the open-ended question portion. They will do the pick and choose, right? The multiple choice or the ordering. So if, we're going to revise questions, then I would like to see closed-ended questions with closed-ended responses to that, which is what I thought we had produced from last week's discussion. And I also think that a lot of what you're trying to understand from the people is more qualitative information that would be shared at a town hall or a type focus group session. That's where you get the how and the why. What are you, willing to do? This is the what. Like, what are you willing to support or not? And are you willing to support it or not? And then we move forward into step 2 with, here's the configurations, here's the different specifics around what we can do.
Well, it seems like you have the votes and you should proceed.
Well, let's formalize it then. Is there a motion to move forward?
Well,
with-
before we do that,
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the page and everybody understands. I mean, I think, as I said, I understand Roger's concerns because Roger's he's looking more towards, the questions that Rogers are asking, like you were kind of pointing out, are things that are probably going to be like 3 steps later when we get it, because that is pertinent information, right? That when we go out there to get our marketing research, at that point in time, they need to have, but we also need to frame the questions in such a way that they're easier to read, easier to understand, because people, like you said, Roger, people don't want to sit there and try to figure things out. If the general education, what's that? Okay, I'm not answering this. So we got to make sure that if we do that, because it is pertinent information later on, because I know last time we did a bond, we said, well, what are people willing to do and what they're not willing to do? And obviously the information we got was not necessarily as accurate as we had hoped. So I think what Roger's kind of saying is we need to frame questions, whether they're now or in the future, they got to be more narrowly focused so that we can get a better indication of what people are willing to do and not willing to do. But I think at this point in time, I think we just need to see if we should even move forward on this, and is something that the community even wants us to continue to beat on, because if it's not, then okay, we go in a different direction. But I do think that some of his concerns are something that we definitely need to, like you were saying, address in town halls or address in surveys a little bit later, because as you said, we can't just go genuinely say, hey, you want to build a school over there, and then people say yes, and then they go and read the stuff when they go to vote, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, yeah. So I do think that's a point in the process. I'm just not sure if that's right now, but it definitely is something that needs to be addressed. So that's my opinion on it.
With that, is there a motion to move forward with the survey?
I'll make a motion, we move forward with the survey that was produced before. And just to add to that, though, I'm not a real big fan of surveys. Like I was listening to Roger there saying about, you know, you go and use a porta potty, and someone says, how'd you like the porta potty? Well, I tell you what, a lot of people will say it was great, it was awesome, it was the best porta potty ever, because if you say no, I didn't like it, you get 10 more questions on why you didn't like it. So, you know, just to end it now, okay, it was great, okay, I'm done. So, but I'll make a motion that we go with the survey we produced before.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
It's very sad that I've lost my track record, but it's. No, before I was that was before I was president. So, no, Roger, I'm genuinely sad that streak has ended, but I know this has been something that's been building for a while, and I truly do hope that the community can work together to come up with a solution that makes sense, so that we have appropriate infrastructure and not cannabis farms on Gerd Road or other places in our community. And then we have on, so.
Flip back to the presentation then.
Sure. Yeah. But I think goal is okay. Go ahead.
So we do have our discussion around the February 3rd board study session. It sounds like we want to continue with the survey as it's written, and we'll send it out to the community groups that we have access to, and then hopefully get some responses so that we can compile them for the 3rd. We had also talked a little bit about having further exploration with public-private partnerships, and perhaps Terry Tao coming back to talk about that. Go ahead.
Just a quick clarification, because next week is our next parent and community forum.
Correct.
For the survey, I understand that we're proceeding with that survey. However, there were a couple things that were still on the table I want to make sure that I've clarified before we proceed. A link to the documents that are on our website is already embedded. I can specify somewhere a link with information that does allow people who do want that opportunity to take a bit of a deeper dive that has a little bit more associated with it. I could add that. And I also heard, and I just want to clarify, a couple different board members mention that perhaps a definition of general obligation bond or something along those lines that could be easily woven in, since this is a different audience. I could add that as well. I just wanted to clarify before we proceed if that is part of the direction.
Well, you'd also have to look at like public-private partnerships, things like that. So things that, you know what I'm saying?
That one's defined.
This nomenclature, we know,
Yeah.
right? We deal with it all the time. So I think when you're doing a poll to the general public, you have to watch what how you present the question, because otherwise, either you're not going to get a response or you're not going to get an accurate response.
And we did provide a definition that was very simplified for public-private partnership, but I don't believe we added something in there about general obligation bonds. So just maybe to make it even parallel, I could add a very simplified definition, so at least there's something there.
And I think maybe before we send it out, we asked maybe take a mini poll from 10, just regular people outside, if it was possible. Hey, what do you think about this? Just to make sure if you're still going to use it.
Or maybe use it at our
Yes.
community's forum next week.
Yes.
And then see if we need to tweak it.
If
before we
there's,
push it out completely.
absolutely, so I can do that.
Turn on your mic.
When you say public-private partnership, and then you refer to it PPP, make sure you put the parentheses PPP right
Okay.
after it. Otherwise,
Yes,
people go, what the hell's PPP?
okay.
I want to make a point of order, though. If you're talking about changing the survey, we already made a motion. We're going to keep it the same.
Yes.
That is the same.
So it's the same, but adding the link.
Definition.
It's not the same purely because I'd be asking to add a link and a definition for general obligation bond. Do you feel that that's significant enough of a change that we would need to revote?
I can amend my motion to allow for that change if the second will be amended as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you change your mind, Mr. Murchat? Okay. I was
Thank you.
hoping that would be the case. Okay. And then we will release that to the town hall, or not town hall, the
Forum.
parent forum, community forum next Wednesday. And then from there, you can circle back to the board and let us know if there's anything that we need to be advised of that might need to be addressed before pushing it out to the community, and really try to get it out there universally so that we don't have just all Gerd Valley or all this people around this site, that we actually have distribution across the district.
So I can do that. So after the forum, I can circle back and see if there's something that is maybe fundamentally confusing or inadequate. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so then we have the town halls coming, and we'll generate some question prompts for you for each of them, and I believe locations have been ironed out now. And then we have discussion and next steps. So
We already did that part.
I know.
We just went out of order.
We did. And then, of course, the link back to the facilities planning page where we have all the presentations there.
And we'll update the image that you have there because we've since added quite a bit more information. Thank you.
And I know that this is charged, and there's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of work product. I'd like to continue to thank everyone in this room, including our dissenter on the moving forward with the survey as designed, because I really do feel like Bonsall is a very special place, and from my heart, I really do want the best for the community, from Pendleton to Paula and everything in between. And as mentioned, we have a bridge in our logo. It's time to really address what the land holdings are and come up with a plan as a board that we can then share with the community, that the community's not confused. One of the problems we had in 2024 was that there was not a concrete plan because it was very chicken and egg in terms of we needed the bond funding in order to purchase the property, in order to be able to do things, and there was confusion. And I don't want to see that moving forward. We really need to make sure that we have community cohesion and support, even if there are those that fundamentally disagree with having a school in that specific location because they're scared about change, and I'm hoping that we can make change feel good as best we can, and that we'll be proud as a community to have TK through 12 facilities that, we will send our own children and grandchildren to, and have a point of community building for all of us.
Well, and I just want to say one thing too, because going forward, I just want to make sure that, we as a board, we've been very cohesive for a very long time, and I think. Again, I'm just going to talk about my favorite guy, John Stuart Mill, right, philosopher. When it comes to speech and differences of opinion, he believes that all opinion have value, right? Because number one, if you listen to somebody and you disagree with them, but you actually listen, don't just hear them, listen. It allows you to challenge your own views and support the fact that, hey, yeah, I do believe what I believe. Thank you for challenging it, and thank you for letting me reevaluate. So that has value there. Second thing is maybe somebody's partially right? Maybe you're thinking about your opinion, boy, that part of their argument is really good. Then it allows you to reform and revise your own argument into a new one. And the last is maybe they're totally right and you're totally wrong. And so in any of the cases, listening to somebody, not just hearing them, but actually actively listening and trying to envision what they're saying has value. And I just want to make sure that we continue as a board to adhere to that, because I think if we do that, then it helps us make the best decisions for this school district.
Thank you. All right, anything else as it relates to this item before we move on to the other action items?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you, everyone. All right, that brings us to our action items. The first item is the SARC, the School Accountability Report Card reports, and there is a request to have those officialized. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Oh.
Just Heather and
Veronica,
we're going to make those changes. There's a number of typos that just need to be taken care of. Other than that, I'm fine.
so the trustee Merchat indicated that there's some just more they're non-substantive in terms of the content edits that need to be addressed. And with that, is there a motion to approve moving forward with some edits?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bringing us to our action item number 2. This is the master contracts between Bonsall Unified School District and Oak Grove Center and the Community School of San Diego High School for the 2025-26 school year. And these are placements for special education.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our contract with Infinity Communications and Compliance for some teleconnect professional services.
I didn't even understand. I read through it. I meant to ask. I didn't understand what I was reading. What is this for? Could you?
internal network that includes Wi-Fi, routers, switches, and wiring elements. That's what the provider will give us a discount for those needs that we have.
Okay. So
it's a discount. It's a program that offers a discount for school districts and libraries.
Gotcha. Okay. Great.
This company, what it will do is to get the RFP for research for those services.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, bringing us to our fourth and last action item. This is a ratification for a whole bunch of tree trimming. Ratification of agreement between Bonsall Unified School District and PWLC 1 for tree trimming at Bonsall High School and Sullivan Middle School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our public comment section of the meeting. Is not going to read any speaker slips today? Okay. In which case, this brings us to planning. We've already seen addressed during both the superintendent's report as well as the facilities planning section that we have a number of meetings coming up, but beyond the town hall and the board workshop, we have our next regular meeting on Thursday, February 12th, here in person unless otherwise noticed. Closed session at 4:30, open session at 6. And with that, we shall adjourn the meeting at 8:43. Thank you all.
All right, we're done.